Hello, and thank you for joining me to discuss the Fit Family Challenge. And this is going to be an overview of our actual implementation. The prior two YouTube videos, the first one talks about the actual pilot project and gives an overview of that. The second one actually talks about our pilot data. And as I mentioned, this one will actually talk about the implementation of our curriculum and facilitation. So just to give as an overview, wanted to start off with some skills that are really needed and desired in order to really effectively facilitate the Fit Family Challenge. First and foremost is energy and enthusiasm for the program, as this is really infectious for the participants. We continually receive feedback from our Fit Family participants that when they have a facilitator for the group visits that's really excited to be there and excited to be able to present the curriculum and the classes and those kinds of things, that it really makes it much more enjoyable for everybody involved. And then the other part of it is to really engage the participants in the group visits. And we've assisted with that as part of the Fit Family Challenge by including exercises and activities throughout the group visit curriculum where you really do engage the participants right from the get-go. This is not about passively sitting back and listening to somebody talk in front of the group. This is really about engaging everyone to participate in the group visit. The other thing that is really important about facilitating the Fit Family Challenge for these group visits is really to have the ability to redirect participants who might have a tendency to dominate the group. And again, in the facilitator's guide for the Fit Family Challenge, we give some tips about how you're able to do this effectively without offending anyone, but also, again, preventing one or two participants from going off on a tangent of which the rest of the group really prefers not to discuss. And then the other part of it is really having adequate preparation for each group visit. One of the things that I continually get complaints about from participants is they can tell if the facilitator or facilitators of the group visits really hasn't spent the time preparing for the lesson or for the information to be delivered, and they're just reading from the facilitator's guide. So adequate preparation is really important. So again, the Fit Family Challenge is the curriculum is focused around regularly scheduled group visits, and all the participants the participating clinics in our pilot project offered these monthly group visits. And one of the things that was really important is to determine a specific day and time by the clinic of when these will be offered. And we really recommend that these need to be in the late afternoon or early evening to accommodate school and work schedules. And that we also recommend that your clinic pick a consistent day and time. So for instance, if you're going to hold these on the second Tuesday, that you do that every month and also at the same time. So for instance, the second Tuesday of every month at 5:30 might be an example of picking a consistent day and time to hold your group visits at your practice. And then the care manager, it's the job of the care manager to remind, or someone within your practice to remind the participants of the group visits, either during that weekly contact or to call them or send them an email or a text to remind them that there is going to be a group visit that particular week. So how much time will each group visit take? So in general, the class preparation time or the group visit preparation time is somewhere between about 30 to 45 minutes. And it takes about that amount of time to review the specific lesson, the curriculum materials. In some cases, there are some supplies to buy, although, again, we've tried to minimize that, but there are some that do call for some supplies, and then to actually prepare the actual class materials. And then the actual visit time is about 90 minutes. It's useful for somewhere around 15 minutes prior to the group visit to be available to have one-on-one time with each child and parent to discuss how they've done with their action plan, and also to gather their height and their weight, and have them retake the Heart Smart Kids questionnaire to gather their data. And then the group visits are set up so that there's actually about 60 minutes of actual group time. So that's when you're all together and going through the family guide and the activities and so on. So where should the group visits be held? It's preferable if it's actually at your practice because, again, this is a place where your families are going to know where to go, but only if there's adequate space that's available. So that's really key. If it's not available, then there may be some places within your community where there's a space where your participants might be more comfortable. So you really need to assess your practice to see what your space is like because having adequate space because to really get everyone together, including the children and their family members, and to have the ability so everyone really has adequate space is really important for the success of the program. So looking at the care manager roles and responsibilities. So first and foremost, it's to really assist with actual facilitation of the group visits. And this would include, as I mentioned before, reviewing and preparing for each lesson. And then again, involving the parents and guardians in the program. So this helps to maintain engagement throughout the program. Again, feedback that we received from the participating practices in the Fit Family Challenge has been when there's somebody that's consistent that the parent and the child know for whether it's the care manager or it's a consistent clinician, physician, so on. That's really, really helpful for the child and the parent if they really have someone they can identify with and engage with for the program. And then the care manager, again, what he or she does is they conduct the weekly contact with the Fit Family Challenge participants either via phone, email, or through text message. As I mentioned, as part of our program, we developed a very robust facilitators guide. This is a tool that was created to really help practices to implement group visits for the intervention. One of the things that we heard over and over again as we were developing this program is that practices don't have the time to develop their own materials. So we really tried to develop a step-by-step, basically shelf-ready type of a facilitator guide and also a family guide so that the burden wouldn't be on the practice to actually have to create all of these materials. All of the modules are intended to create discussion and encourage goal setting around healthy living. And then the guide and the curriculum, there are 16 structured lessons, and all of these have activities that relate to healthy eating, nutrition, and physical activity topics. So if we're looking at the actual module breakdown, so for the facilitator guide, so each module actually provides details about the information of the specific materials that you'll need for that specific class. So for example, the one around fruits and vegetables, one of the suggested activities is to buy some different kinds of fruits and vegetables and do a taste testing. So the group visit preparation section would recommend and give information about how to adequately provide for that. There's module objectives, so that lets you know and lets each child in the family know what they should actually learn from each specific group visit. And then at the beginning, we really encourage to start off with a get a move on activity, and we've given some ideas in the facilitator guide about what you can do around get a move on. But again, this is really to get the child and the parent and the other family members right from the get-go up and moving and doing something fun and those kinds of things. I can tell you that our pilot practices did all kinds of fun things with this, from doing Zumba to having somebody from the community come in and do something around yoga, or they would kick around a kickball or those kinds of things. So there's lots of fun ways to actually get the group visit started with this get a move on activity. And then there are some talking points and discussion. Again, this is part of the facilitator guide. The idea behind this is that right away you're engaging the child and participant by asking them some specific questions and having some discussion points about the specific content area of that particular group visit. And then each group visit ends with an activity, so doing something fun that as a group. And there are structured activities that we recommend that are part of the facilitator guide and that are also part of the family guide. And then there's action planning at the end of each one of the group visits. And the action planning utilizes this SMART goal setting. So SMART goal setting would be specific. So what are they going to do and how often? So for instance, if they choose that they want to eat more fruits and vegetables, then the specifics would be which fruits and vegetables are you going to eat? Are you going to try? how are you going to do this? Are you going to pack more fruits and vegetables in your lunch? Are you going to add them to your dinner? And then how often are you going to do this? Are you going to try and do this every day? Are you going to try to do it 3 times a week? So really getting specific about what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, and how often they're going to do it. And then the M part of this is measurable. So how will the child or parent know that they've actually done this? So how are they going to do that? Are they going to mark it off on a calendar that they ate their fruits and vegetables that day? Are they going to send their care manager a text message? So how are they going to know that they've actually accomplished that? And then the next two on attainable and then realistic is a little bit of motivational interviewing about how attainable is it to think about adding more fruits and vegetables? Is that something that, is it in the dead of winter, and are there limitations, or is cost an issue if you're going to try to include more fruits and vegetables? And then is it realistic? Is it something that you really think that you can do? And this gives an opportunity for the parent and child to explore what are some potential barriers and how they may be able to actually overcome some of those barriers. And then the last one of this is the T, which is time limited. So when will they do this by? Many times the facilitator will recommend the child and parent do this as a time limited thing based on coming to the next group visit. However, it could be a shorter period of time. So it could be a week or two, and this could be something that they touch base about through their weekly contact, either through phone, text message, or email. So this gives a detailed overview of the actual topics for each one of the group visits. And again, what you can see is they're really focused around the 5210 message. So around fruits and vegetables, screen time, physical activity, sugar sweetened beverages, and so on. However, there are a few other things, for instance, around family communication, on cooking and label reading, and so on. So you can see those are the first 8 months, and then these are the remaining topic areas. And again, you can see that we've tried to make them fun. There's some things around self-esteem and sleep and some other things that are also really crucial for just overall health, and also obesity, both in terms of treatment, but also prevention. So some keys to success. Again, we've had the opportunity to pilot the Fit Family Challenge within Colorado for about the past 3 years. So I think we have some really some good ideas about what are some things that are really successful practices we're able to do to really engage their participants and really keep them coming back month after month to the group visit. So as I mentioned early on, I think being prepared for the group visit is really important, and not to read from a facilitator guide. The participants know very quickly if the facilitator or facilitators are not prepared, or they're harried or hurried or whatever it might be. So really be prepared and be really ready to have some fun and engage your participants. And then, if you're new to doing this, some of the things that our practices did is they actually would practice ahead of time the group visit, so that they would do that with their team. Within their practice, so that they felt that they were prepared for the actual group visit when it came to including the child and the parent. Starting and ending your group visits on time is really important. Starting them on time lets participants know that if they arrive 5 minutes late, that they're actually going to miss something. Ending on time lets them know that you're respectful of their time, that they've come, and that they can expect, that they know that they're going to only be there for the hour or the hour 15 minutes, depending on how long it takes you to get their height and weight, and get them to complete their Heart Smart Kids assessment, if that's something you're going to be utilizing. But starting and ending is really important for letting your participants know that their time is going to be respected. And then making the group visits fun and engaging. Again, we hopefully have helped you with this by providing some fun and engaging activities. But that's one of the things that, again, some feedback that we really received from our participating practices is that, starting off with a really fun, get a move on activity, and then doing other really fun activities is not only fun for the facilitators, but it's certainly what's really fun for the child and the parent, and if there's any other family members that are there. Model open and non-judgmental behavior. One of the things that, again, we call this a Fit Family Challenge, and we don't necessarily call this a weight management program. However, most of the kiddos probably and parents probably know that they're there to help their child to lose their weight or to have better weight management. And I think that many times parents and children have had some judgmental behavior around what they eat, what they do for physical activity or don't do for physical activity. So really having that open and non-judgmental behavior and a really safe environment and to set that up is really important for success of the Fit Family Challenge. Some other keys to success, again, acknowledging positive behaviors frequently. Again, many times these are kiddos or parents that continually have heard some negative things about what they're doing around the food that they're eating and their lack of physical activity and those kinds of things. So really being positive is important. Giving encouragement and compliments. And again, respect for participants, their beliefs, their feelings, and their boundaries. Again, you're going to end up with probably some very different participants that attend your group visits that may have different backgrounds and those kinds of things. So really, right from the get-go, being respectful of all participants is very important. And that ties into then being clear about how you expect group members to treat each other. Again, there's going to be some differences of opinions. There's no real right and wrong, and that these groups are not for judging. Demonstrating the concepts and examples when possible. And again, hopefully we've helped you with that by giving you a number of different activities that you can do during the group visit, and using simple language. I mean, we really try to get away from our medical speak in these group visits and really make this around something that is fun and engaging for the child and the parent. And then, you and you as a facilitator and others on your team that are participating, that they are also participating in the games and activities. They're not just standing on the side watching others participate. So if there's a get a move on activity, that everybody on your team is also participating in the get a move on activity as well. And being flexible and enthusiastic. Again, I think that flexibility is really important. There's lots of different competing demands in these people's lives and those kinds of things. So being flexible is important. And that enthusiasm goes a long, long way. So thank you for your time and for viewing this video.